Well, this is a fantastic afternoon and Friday as well, and couldn't have been an esteemed company of many of you guys who are marketing leaders, content creators, and very, very sort of heartiest thanks first to take out the time. I think it's a busy day, and just taking out even this time makes it really important for all of us, not just as part of the IGC Council, but for various stakeholders, even coming in to listen to you guys as well. You all come with different backgrounds, and we have a very eclectic mix of seasoned marketers as well as sort of content creators. And I think today's discussion is extremely pertinent from that perspective that I think while I think, really keep talking about content marketing, influencer marketing, there are, I think, a series of, I think, problem statements, essentially in terms of just the fact of, I think, just managing contracts, paperwork, and also to essentially understand in terms of whether you're protected in the process as well. And I'm going to start with sort of, I think, someone who I've known fairly well. And Ashish has been a dear friend. He leads the marketing function of a very, very large sort of healthcare sort of vertical as well. And Ashish, while you've played multiple roles as well in the content marketing space, I think if you can just perhaps try and just, as a marketer, tell us in terms of what are your problem statements sometimes in terms of when you get content marketing done and things sometimes don't go right.
I think thanks, Dr. Kaushal, for having me, and we're glad to be part of the panel, and very happy to be also part of the IGC community as well. I think it doesn't happen just once or twice; it happens regularly in terms of those failures or those learnings coming in when things have actually not gone as planned in content. And I come up with a lot and lot, and I think we can spend the day as well. But couple of them I remember in my earlier years with the cab aggregators that I was working with, that we had absolutely not planned how it should go out, and we had everything good at heart, but it ended up becoming a cursing rampage for us. But see, given the fact, I think as a brand who's supposed to create content for living, you had everything at heart correct and at the right places. And you were not trying to build it up for the sake of creating those red flags or the negative conversation driving, saying that yaar jo badnaam hai usi ka naam hai, but that was never the intent. But yeah, I think all of us might have gone through a lot, many of them, but there is no end to it. There's no foolproof formula that I can give you today. This will save you for sure.
Well, very, very honest, like always, Ashish. And clearly, I think, spoken from the heart as well. But I'm going to try and flip it to definitely one of the creators. Varsha, I'm sure in your sort of experience with working with tons of brands, you've done some amazing collabs as well. I don't want you to name brands, but I'm sure there's been work that you've done with some brands, and for some strange reason, you've not been paid, or you've been, chasing the money, and multiple of these things as well, where you perhaps then feel, well, what the hell? I should have done a better contract. I should have got my paperwork done better. I should have got my email contract done better. So, what are your thoughts?
First of all, thank you so much for having me. And I'm really happy to be here. And secondly, you're right. Actually, I think contract also never helps. We have been on contract still. The contract says 3 months will be the payment terms is 3 months, but still you get paid after a year, maybe a year. So
That's very, very,
I
very, 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 very honest, Varsha.
yeah.
And
Varsha,
So
I second that. Being on the other side of the part as well, but I can add, yes, that's a general
yes.
problem.
And there are reasons which are genuine also, and which you cannot write down on contract, and it will be done next week, next week, next week, and then it's like it's been a year. I see. So I think it depends on brand to brand, because I have worked with many brands who are very nice, very prompt payment. Um, I am really clueless what helps with better payment terms. I also don't know actually that,
well, we
but yes,
well we
I
hope that
feel
maybe well we hope that maybe in case if some payment is stuck right now, we won't talk about which payment is stuck right now, but we hope that maybe things will get perhaps mitigated for you for sure in some manner through the efforts of the council. And I think we've got someone interesting also from a legal perspective as well. And I don't know whether, Rangam, are you here? I don't see him yet, but maybe he's just going to join. But he's also our key spokesperson, in fact, from a company called Trilegal, which is one of India's largest sort of legal firms in the country as well. But while we wait for him to sort of, I think, just come on as well, I could perhaps flip to someone who's been an extremely smart marketer himself. And I see Sarbajit now there as well. And I see him broadly smiling. I don't know whether the smiles are because maybe sort of there's some payment yet to go, or maybe he's not done the right contract and he's trying very hard to get the right contract done. But Sarabjit, I think while you've played multiple roles of being on the lens of being a great digital marketer, what do you think perhaps then is, some of the things that we should look into? Do we need to press and look at smarter contractual agreements?
Thank you so much. Playing a contract is a very crucial to this world. While we are considering content, but the thing is, what kind of content you are sharing with the creators is also playing a crucial role. Because once the content is there, then after that, to utilize content, you have to make sure from the perspective that there should not be misleading, there should not be misleading information.
I think we just lost him, but maybe we'll come back through to him as well. And maybe I'll flip therefore to other interesting sort of marketing leader we have as well. Mansi, I think you lead an extremely large group, and that too on a side which is retail, which is fashion. And I think clearly in that space, I think influencer marketing, content marketing is almost like the first line item today in a typical marketing plan. So having said that, I think, can you give us, for example, your thoughts that how do you see protection for you? Because as much it is in the interest of, say, the content creators to feel that they don't get short changed in terms of getting money, are there certain things that you believe that perhaps as a marketer they should be defined in terms of what you think are the responsibilities for the content creator?
Yeah, I think
So,
thank you so much for bringing all of us on one forum, right? It's very important to have this transparent conversation, right? And we're happy to hear from Barsha and Shireen also the other side, because we always, think that we are the right ones. So it's always great to hear the other side as well. And I love the content Barsha and Shireen creates, so that is a sort of a good thing to appreciate each other, because whatever is said and done, I think we are in a symbiotic association. We both need each other. That's the reality, right? So we need to make it work. Now, one of the challenges we face, and I agree with Varshad, I think payments is something that we really need to work as a marketers and a brand to make sure, because they are the ones who sort of creating the content for us. So we have to pay them on time. Having said that, there are certain responsibility even content creators have, right? I mean, in a way, they are representing a brand. Like, I see a lot of times when we work with the creators, I see my brand content, and the next day I see some competitor brand's content, right? And the very next day. I mean, while I don't expect a complete loyalty from them because they are not my brand faces, but in a way, they're also my brand custodians, right? So there has to be some loyalty should be maintained, right? Secondly, I also feel that they should sort of learn about the brand, understand about the brand, ask me certain questions. Who's your TG? What do you like? What your TG likes? All these questions and transparency will reduce the feedbacks, which as a marketers we give, right? And I think that's the biggest pain point content creators have, that we give a lot of feedbacks, or we don't understand the aesthetics. While I agree to that, but also their responsibility to study the brand before they actually shoot for it is very, very important. And third part is, I think while the contracts are will not safeguard you completely, but it will solve the problem to the larger extent. So in my opinion, definitely a paperwork will solve a lot of questions which will otherwise arise if you don't have the contractual work done, or maybe certain terms and conditions put in the contracts. So yeah, that's my opinion.
No, I think very, very sort of candid, I think, thoughts coming in from your side about trying to be, I think, as involved in the whole process. And I think, the point that you made about being a brand custodian, really. And I think that's a conversation which doesn't happen only in India. I've been privy to those conversations even world over as well, that, an influencer works with, say, a retail fashion brand, and literally after 3 days or 4 days, he or she is doing exactly competition, right? So where do you draw the line? And is there a line in the first place? So is that one thought for sure? But while we're talking about that, I think what is also important, therefore, is a person or a company which sits in the middle of it, right? Because at the end of the day, between Mansi, between Varsha, a lot of companies which are playing the role of an influencer marketing company have, therefore, that pivotal role as an exchange between both the parties. Because a lot of times, I think what happens is perhaps what I think what's happening in Ashish's mind or Mansi's mind is not percolating down either to Varsha, is because of that, I think, partner who's the most important binder in the process. And I think today, with I think the growth of influencer marketing, there are 100+ agencies, including what at iCube's why we do as well. And I can tell you for a fact that I think some of the largest challenges that I think even companies today have is pretty much on both the sides. So we hear you, Mansi, we hear someone like Ashish, and clearly I think in terms of creators as well. But I think those are certain things that I think we'd love to, I think, go through in more depth in this time that we have this afternoon. But I'm going to go back to, I can see Rangam pretty much here as well. And you were the man of the hour, I think, right now, because I think everyone's saying, hey, you know what? I'm not getting my money, Rangam. I think the brands are saying that, hey, I'm getting shortchanged because some of the creators doing work for competition. So where do you see, for example, are you thinking that, Rangam, maybe I think there will be a time pretty much even in the influencer space, what you will do is drop, I think, contracts, not just with the large influencers, but even the mid-sized ones to say, hey, you know what? If you're working with the brand for Mansi and you're doing work with Aditya Birla Group, maybe for a particular time, you shouldn't be doing something which is immediate competition, and perhaps list out some of those competition names. Is that something which you think, Rangam, is beginning to happen in the industry?
Sure. Thanks everyone. And sorry, I was delayed by a couple of minutes, some technical challenges.
No stress.
Before jumping into the specific clauses that we would see in influencer contracts, and of course this is going to pick up the trend, and we are going to see a lot of changes, modifications, etc. I want to take a step back to just understand one part that, when we hear the horror stories, content being taken down, payments delayed, collaborations, turning sour, whether you are a brand or you are an influencer, right? The the common solution to both the problems at both ends would be contract, right? Today, the problem that we have, that we are seeing, is that at least for influencer contracts, we're seeing two kinds of deals. We're seeing handshake deals, right? Quick, informal, uh, often with friends, early clients, uh, or we are seeing those boilerplate contracts where somebody who's more influential, so to speak, if it's a stronger brand telling an early, starter influencer to just sign whatever is available, right? Whatever is on the table. What we would need to now evolve into is that there's, of course, recognition to the fact that influencer, as a concept has evolved. It's almost fourth pillar to the company. It's as critical a marketing sales tool as what we would traditionally have, right? And therefore, the need to evolve it in such a way that neither the brand nor the influencers suffer, right? And Kushal, to answer your question, look, will we start seeing this soon? Yes, we should, because what we don't want is a situation where someone's going up and saying, okay, I'm putting up some stories for Airbnb. uh, will I be what should be the extent of my non-compete? Can I not do anything for Stay Vista at all, and for how long? In fact, the courts have looked into non-compete as a concept multiple times, not in the necessarily in the context of influencer marketing, but they have looked at it in a more traditional setup, and they have always said that non-compete needs to be reasonable. Now, what's reasonable will evolve basis how we see these relationships going. So, short answer to that, today we don't see that as often, but it'll start picking up traction, is what my sense is.
Fantastic. I think sort of we've heard it from, I think, one of the largest legal firms in the country, and I'm sure sort of there are wheels in motion being set as well. Shirin, are you here with us? I'm just going to check. She's obviously a content creator and she's also been a face in terms of doing a fair amount of, I think, work being an actor as well. Are you around, Shirin?
You're on mute, Chili.
I'm just very bad with the technical things. I'm just led like some delay for me to
No
join.
problem at all.
Apologies for
No
that.
problem at all. So thank you for taking out this precious afternoon time, Shirin, to be with us as well. And I'm going to have one very, very honest answer, which I think I could probably expect from you as well. That I think, there are tons of creators, and there are creators who also are faces which we see on television and movies and what have you as well. And while you've played a role of an actor as well, does it happen easy that you can get around and clearly say, hey, you know what? I've reached a certain stature, and therefore I need a payment much quicker, because you may not be Shah Rukh Khan, but you're still at a certain level to sort of say, hey, you know what, I can 100% demand that, and clearly I could have Rangam as my even lawyer I can afford to have, to say I need my payment on time.
I totally deny that. I think even if you are, until and unless you are Shah Rukh Khan, I think you cannot get the payment whenever you want to. The time that usually the brand takes for them to like deliver the payment, the protocols, the procedures are like, as we discussed, we all need to go by that. Having like having a tag of an actor doesn't make it any easy for you. We all go through the same boat.
Well, that's
As honest as
extremely
I can be.
extremely honest, and I think that's going to be certainly flattering for Mansi, who I know is smiling, saying that yes, I know that I can discuss my new brief with her for sure, because she's going to be on the same plate, understanding, because at the end of the day, I'll have my own payment cycle structure and any of that as well.
See,
But I
honestly,
think
we
while we're
also bound with
discussing,
the process, right? Like we all also there are certain process we need to follow, so we can't do much there.
absolutely, what do you think? Perhaps then, is there something that we should do as an industry, that maybe a lot of these deals sometimes are happening because we live in a very fast paced, hyper active digital world? And today, for example, on the marketer side or even content creators, sometimes marketers even directly work with creators as well. And they say, hey, they reach out to people on a WhatsApp or through an agent and say, get this done tomorrow. So do we think that maybe we need to create for better paperwork on a channel like WhatsApp itself? And I can have this question for Ashish or
That should be a good
Mansi.
idea, I think.
Go on, Ashish.
So Mansi or Ashish, have you guys done ever sort of like, have you done, like, I'm sure you've done deals on WhatsApp as well, saying, okay, fine, closed, after negotiation, the closures happen on WhatsApp. But has there been some sort of PDF contract signing, whatever, on WhatsApp as well?
Not specifically sent on WhatsApp, but yeah, digitally all your DocuSign documents being going through WhatsApp and being signed, in where the number is the most important that is being checked. But yeah, Kushal, there are ways of doing it, and we all have done it ourselves. See, I'll add a little bit of masala into the entire conversation.
We love masala.
The masala is about, and Varsha, the credit should go to you that you started the conversation of payments not coming to you. I think while we are working with the agencies and the partners that we work with, there are instances when we are paying advance.
We love the honesty, Ashish. We love the honesty.
Not sure how that translates. Second, very important conversation, I think, and this came as an idea on top of my mind, and Rangam can add to it. Let's make it escrow accounts. How much bigger deal that is? It sits in a place where it should sit in. Both of us as a parties have agreed to pay, and there is no denying the fact. You want to put up a timeline to it, saying that it goes out after 15 days, 30 days, 60 days, fine. Put it into my escrow account and I'm happy. Any which ways, you're paying a lot many deals that we are doing advance. Why not?
Yeah,
no, it's great to hear this, Ashish, and clearly I think very, very, very sort of, I think, honest, when I think there's multiple people in the process. So I don't think we're here to sort of, I think, comment in terms of where perhaps, there's some gray shade or gray area, or where perhaps that, kind of thing is kind of stopping. But I think what we were really trying to, I think, talk about through is, how do we ensure that people are really protected? And that's the reason to really sort of, I think, make, I think, the marketers, I think, more protected in terms of feeling that, yes, working with these creators, they're sort of really comfortable and they know that they'll always do a good job with. And clearly then, when it's for someone like Shireen or Varsha as well, they feel that they'll never be shortchanged. And they can clearly then, because we've also heard from multiple creators, Shireen, that, we work with these same brands now for the last 3 to 4 years. And that's really, I think, the power of great partnerships. So Shireen, if you can add to that in terms
100%.
of what do you think perhaps is that one thing which will, I think, motivate you to feel that, yes, I'm extremely comfortable with someone like Mansi or Ashish to, kind of work around with.
I do not believe when the creators come up and say that we do not get enough freedom to shoot the way we want to shoot, because I really think that the brand is also somewhere very right when they say that they have certain things that they want us to feature, because we need to go hand in hand. And all I expect is like if not 50-50, then 60-40, that okay, I am 70-30 for that matter, that okay, 70% I am right there trying to understand the vision of the brand, but 30% I would want like some organic liberty, so that we can together we can create a video or content which works for both of us. That is the only thing that I look for when I am working with the brand. And as you very rightly said, that if that vision comes to like if we align on that vision, and if we are able to make something creative, productive, featuring the brand in a very right way, and it works well for both of us, and then the brand is repeating us, like, and we are working with them like every year, probably like a campaign is happening. I think that is what I that gives me happiness, that yes, I am able to deliver you what you want, and the brand coming back again makes me feel that yes, I have delivered something right, so they are coming. And I just look for that 70-30% of understanding from the brand. That is something that I think makes it easy. And I don't think that it's very right to say that we want complete freedom, because I understand that the brand also needs to focus some parts which is very important for them.
Well, fabulously, I think, spoken, Shireen. And I think I love the word that you said, or you want to sort of create some bit of organic content. You said that you would like some amount of freedom. And I think clearly it speaks so much in terms of just the fact that you've done great amount of campaigns. So I'm sure you've had a lot of, experiences working with them as well. Sarabjit, we lost you for a minute a little earlier, but I'm going to come to you as being a marketer, as being someone who's been in digital as well. How often do you give honest answer, please, again? How often do you give this sort of organic sort of love or ability for the creator to do something on his or own will? Or have there been times that your CEO has told you, exact dot to dot, ये speech लिखानी है, ऐसे shoot करना है, I need this angle of the creator because the left doesn't look nice, the right does look nice, and that person has to wear blue, and the blue must also have the dark blue because the color of the brand is this shade of dark blue. So please be honest.
So see, the first things in today's world, it's easy to get from the board approvals. We just show them the three things. One is numbers, which is called a views. Number two is the traction, which is called in comments, which is coming also in the search. And number three is the shares. So that is the KPI. Once we are decided from the board of, in the board approval, it is done. Now, in terms of to make sure your story in a brand from that, user phenomena or user perspective, you are sharing the right story. So for that, all I can do is give my plethora of the brand and the storyboarding to the creator. And at the end, they know their content, the way it will, operate, because they know their followers and all. So they will do in their way. So I give the 100% freedom in that particular perspective. And one thing I make sure, whenever there are maximum raw footages are there with the creator, and whenever it is going to that last, slot in the editor days, there should not be any change. They should think from that script to that liberty that we have add on, that should be there. It should not be, there should not be gap in the conversation. That is in terms of the content are concerned. Now come back to the point in terms of the payments. I do agree with Ashish. From the brand, we always gives advance. 50% we give in advance and 50% we kept it, because sometimes what happened, with due respect to the industry and the all, means creators sometimes they are already loaded with the content, deliverables and all. So sometimes in that track, they sometimes, forget, let's say, is this delivery, whether it is so important for me, or what is my delivery time and what are the delivery day. So hence for that particular purpose, we just kept a 50% on hold, or maybe 30 to 40% on hold. And in case if there is some changes is required in the content, that's all. But the thing is, everything's done
So
within a
this
month
so
of.
this criteria of first you said 50, then you said 40, then you said 30. Is it basis some algorithm in your background saying
I
for
will
the
tell you. I'll
big
tell you.
mega
So
influencers you will give 80%, for the smaller ones and for the tiniest ones you'll say I'm giving you 10%, 90% I'll give you later because you are only at this level. How
not
does it
exactly.
work?
So
Is there an
every time it
algorithm
is
in your mind?
50%. No, no, no. Every time it is 50% in advance. But sometimes what is happening now? Some people, I believe Srini will also agree with me, there is a date commitments are also there. So for the date commitment and all, if there is a clashing on the dates and all, then we have to give some 60% because there is a slot, they will compromise with the other brands as well. So see, at the end, it's a joint business. We have to respect and understand their, their challenges and their support each other, and then we need to run. That's how it is going to be big.
Well,
And
I'm
that's
sure
it.
you're supporting people for sure, but let me go back to Varsha. Varsha, how often have you been in a situation? Again, try and be as honest. How often, Varsha, have you been in a position and clearly got even a brief by someone to say, you know what, for this shoot, you have to 100%, be wearing this sort of attire, or you need to be in this frame, or you need to have this background. Do we have Varsha around? I think she's
Yes.
dropped.
Hi.
Yes, Varsha.
So, first of all, I'll completely agree with Shireen, whatever she has said. Secondly, you're talking about attire. It's like it has happened 100% of time that you have to wear this certain color for the brand. But talking about the angle, it usually doesn't happen. It happens only with a few brands. About the angles and the position or the frames, it happens with very few brands.
Are
80%
these
of
are these things ever written in part of the in terms of the contract as well? That if you're working with say a soap brand and the soap brand is say for example peach, and therefore they say you know what you have to wear a peach dress, and in case if the peach dress is not as per our colors, maybe God forbid apne content kar liya, but the peach was not mera wala peach, so then we'll pay you 50% less.
यहाँ पे रोल आता है जो मीडिएटर्स हैं दे कम्युनिकेट सो वेल वहाँ पे ये होता है अगर वो कम्युनिकेट अच्छे से करें देन देयर इज नो चांस फॉर इट बिकॉज सब कुछ पहले से अप्रूव्ड होता है एवरीथिंग व्हाट यू आर वेयरिंग इवन बैकग्राउंड भी जहाँ जहाँ आप शूट करोगे सो देयर इज नो स्कोप यूजुअली देयर इज नो स्कोप फॉर इट
So then what you're saying is there is not much creative freedom given, or the creative freedom is decided in harmony.
Yeah, it's decided in harmony, and this is the first step. Once the deal is locked, it's the first step that even before locking, sometimes brand
Would
give the
you, but
script.
would you want to put some of these things in writing?
Usually the colors and everything are in writing whenever the brief comes or the like all the mandates come to us. It's written in the first place only that we want like this only. So
So
it's up to
Rangam,
us.
Rangam, this is point for you as well as a legal sort of head as well, that a lot of these things are written right from day one. That
Yeah.
someone has to wear Mera wala pink, and the pink must have, say, for example, green trees on it, and it's got to be there for sure.
Not that specific
No.
green trees,
So
but yeah.
Varsha, very, very interesting point that you bring up, right? Uh, Build an approval process without killing creativity. But what is it that goes in the contract? And Kushal, I'll just take 30 seconds just
Please,
to
please.
explain. See, there needs to be brand guardrails, right? The brand non-negotiables will be on paper. As Varsha was pointing out, you will get your brief. The brief will contain certain things that you're not supposed to do, or what are the things that because of which the brand is coming to you. Or for instance, if I'm advising a brand, I'm definitely going to tell them that, okay, in your mandate letter, please mention that there's not going to be any competitor mention. Avoid sensitive topics that could harm the brand reputation. At the end of the day, you're going to somebody, you don't want short-term traction while it results in brand damage for for a very long time. You don't want to do that. And while you grant the space for influencers style, I completely I'm with Shirin when she says there needs to be, you're bringing out a part of yourself, right? There's a reason why you'll go to a Shirin, because she brings something to the table. We don't need to overscript. We don't need to create an inauthentic version of Shirin, right? But most definitely what you'd see in your mandate letter are those brand guardrails where there's going to be pre-approval for most things which are critical, and it wouldn't kill your creativity because it shouldn't be as micro. But those broad 5 4 5 points, Kushal, will definitely be covered and must be covered, from a brand perspective at least.
I think I'm going to check with Mansi. I think, you come from an extremely sort of large organization where process, brand, and all of those things are so critical. So, Mansi, I think in the time that I think when you're sort of, I think, working with your influencer marketing agencies or even having tri-party discussion with creators as well, how much of detail do you go into to even tell the creator what your brand is all about? Do you really share a lot of the brand positioning and detailing with, I think, the creators as well?
Absolutely. I think that's the starting point of the conversation, right? If I'm working with a creator for the first time, I have to brief her about my brand, right? And brief her in the lens of consumer and also my lens, both the lenses, right? I also have to brief her about the campaign because if I'm doing, let's say, a festive campaign, I need to brief her what I'm saying, what is my campaign line, what is my thought process, why I'm saying so. I also brief her about the collection. What is my collection story? What are the things I want her to highlight? And then I tell her what are the aesthetics. So I give her a few references saying that, this is what it is. For example, we have a brand called W Example, right? And we know certain aesthetics for it. So we know this is what I want the background to be. This is how I want the video to look like. But having said that, like Rangam said, right, I will never go and tell her saying that, say these lines. Because I think content creators are there because of their own sort of a talent. I don't want to overshadow that. I just only feed them with the information which is required for my brand. And then of course they send their own scripts. We discuss together saying that इसमें ये edit हो सकता है, वो edit हो सकता है. Maybe I want English, I only want English, I want Hindi. All those things we can discuss. But no compromise on the collection, no compromise on the brand language, no compromise on certain aesthetics that brand pursue.
Well, fabulous to know in terms of, I think, just the rigor in the process and the fact that you're keeping the creators really in tune with what your expectations are. So that's more about expectation setting. But let's assume the campaign is done, the content piece is out. How often, and I'm going to come back to you, Varsha, again, how often, Varsha, for example, that, you've had these meetings, you've done your piece of video, and Varsha, for some strange reason, maybe the piece of content which you created didn't really fly as much, right? And when I'm saying fly as much, it didn't get the sort of views, expected stuff which perhaps you as a creator thought or the brand expected as well. So is there then that larger problem statement saying, I've done these 10 videos in the past. This is my average kind of, what I've done. But for some strange reason, this bombed. Then as a creator, do you feel that, someone stops your payment or doesn't pay you because he feels, hey, you know what, my expectation was this, it didn't, how often? And you can share this transparently, that I'm sure this happens as well, and this is pretty much happening day in and day out.
Yes. So this has happened once or twice that my branded video has not worked like it should have been. So it has happened, but never from brand side they have said that no, no, we are not going to pay you because it has not worked. They understand because sometimes it's more branded, more adsy. So maybe for that reason. So in that case, what I do, I tell the brand in like advance that if you want me to do a proper ad, not an integrated video, not a video that the kind of video that I make, I am not sure how it's gonna perform because we cannot take any guarantee for the algorithm how it will work. So this is not the kind of video I usually make, and it might work and it might not. So this is what I tell them in advance, and I my payment never got stuck because of this. Maybe because of the transparency that I put in front, like prior and going live.
Well, love the word again, transparency and all that as well. Ashish, I'm going to kind of flip to you. I think in a space of healthcare that you sit in right now, and that is, I think, more, I think, important or integral to have the right messaging out, the right kind of choice of influencers. Do you believe that in certain verticals maybe you think that in some verticals that it's all the more reason to perhaps have better, I think, paperwork or things safeguarded to, for everyone?
I think, Kaushal, it's true for every brand. It's true for every content creator as well. To how much possible have all those guardrails in place. And but yes, health. I still feel it comes on the top, and it's my first role in a healthcare organization. I've been here for last 3 years. Uh, of course, because when it comes to life, not even the money is close to it. Absolutely, yes. Uh, on the other side, sorry. Yeah. So I was saying that yes, the guardrails are required and in utmost of importance when it's held. But I think on the lighter note, if nobody is cutting money because the content was not able to perform at that level, I think none of the brands are also picking up or raising their hands and saying that, oh, you have overperformed, here's 10% extra to it. So it works both ways. And just to add, I think, Sarab, we are one of the liberal brands. And in terms of saying, okay, 80% is your organic, but coming from a lot of brands, and let's say healthcare, there will be guidelines. There will be a lot of pointers coming in from us. You should not be seen here. You should not be wearing this. You should not, when you are in a hospital, you need to have the mask on. So all those kind of things become a little bit of challenges for not for everyone to be comfortable to drive through. But yeah, that's true and part and parcel of how we do it.
Well, I think again, sort of, I think very, very honest answers coming in from everyone as well in terms of, I think, what's really sort of happening as well. I'm going to flip to, I think, Rangam and ask him honestly in terms of, do you feel that I think there's something that we can learn from other geographies? I'm guessing as a legal firm, maybe you'll also look at in terms of how influencer marketing is happening or shaping up in other evolving markets, that we could perhaps get a little inspired from, especially around this aspect of keeping everyone's interest safeguarded.
Yeah. And thanks, Kushal. Before we look at other jurisdictions, in fact, we can think about a lot of these clauses or provisions of we can borrow the concept from other contracts. For instance, when we talk about payment structure, and Ashish was just mentioning that, we always have, say, fixed amount for the agreed scope, right? So you split it in the milestone, you pay it in tranches, 50% is here, thereafter the work gets done, you get your 50%. The more we should start thinking on those lines, that what if we attach, say, performance bonus, we say additional payment which can be tied to quantifiable metrics, right? Engagement rate, sorry, engagement rate, conversion rate, say sales uplift. What if we also start looking at other models such as retainer? You're worried that say Shirin may tomorrow go to Stay Vista and your Airbnb, get her on retainer, do ongoing campaigns with quarterly review of deliverables. So when we do look at differentiated clauses or provisions or more protective provisions, we don't even need to look at other geography, other jurisdictions, because thankfully India is moving as fast as other jurisdictions when it comes to these contracts and how these marketing tactics have been deployed, right? I really like the idea of Ashish, for instance, escrow. Not just because it's a lawyer's delight, but generally it makes a lot of sense because there is neutrality attached to that. Funds get released, say, upon deliverables which are vetted by an independent person. What it does is it creates certainty for Varsha, Shirin. It also creates certainty for Sarjeet and you. So what there are so many concepts which will start getting built into contracts, because now that we have started institutionalizing it, and I'm glad that we are talking about this in at this forum, because the more we talk about it, the more we discuss these concepts, the contracts will be concretized more. these payment structure, escrow arrangement, having clear deliverables as part of annexure to a contract, all these would evolve. And I think it can only happen through open dialogues. And thanks, Kushal, for creating that platform for both creators and brand owners. I think uh, we've done a lot already. I think with the open dialogues that we have today, there will be a very clear understanding that the contracts need to evolve, the engagement terms need to evolve to protect both sides. So yeah.
Well, I think this has been, I think, really sort of heartening to listen to many people as well. But, I'm going to sort of again play the lens of sort of, I think, trying to understand some of the larger peeves that Varsha and Shirin have, because, what we do see as a ecosystem, as a governing body, as a association, is that we have too many creators who feel shortchanged, who feel sometimes they need help, who feel sometimes they need guidance. Do you feel that maybe because you're a creative people, that I think understanding of doing paperwork or even sometimes negotiating on payment, that itself needs some sort of help that you need in that process? And I could get Shirin and Varsha both to answer that back to back. Varsha, Shirin, one of you guys can go for it.
Varsha, you can proceed.
So I think it will, yes, definitely help. And having everything like documented and uh, everything registered will always help both the parties. So I think it will help. Yes. What do you
I
say?
def- I definitely agree with Varsha. I think that as we are talking about the WhatsApp documents, as we are talking about things things should happen in a much quicker way if possible, which and at the same time they should be documented nicely, and I think that will definitely be good for the agency, for the creators, and for the brands also, because everything is right there, right in front, written without any confusion. And in regards as we are discussing about the payments as well, so everything is written, everything is very transparent, everything is right in front of us, like all the parties. So I think that should definitely be a good idea.
Yes.
So when everything is scripted, written, do we then feel that we are going to slightly sacrifice on the creative liberty when we put too many things in black and white? Or what is your thought on that? I'm going to ask
No.
a marketer. So I'm going to go to someone back again, and she's worked with tons and tons of marketers at the Aditya Birla Group. So when you put so much as well, what is that? What is it? How much percent do you keep as sort of creative freedom and not put contractually? Do we have you, Mansi?
No, she's not there, Kaushal.
She's not there. We can take your friendly advice, Ashish.
No, like I said, it depends on the piece to piece, but I'm not too sure, given the fact the kind of execution planning that happens, or let's say the planning of the execution happens depending on the campaigns that come for us, and also the time period. I think I don't know how much can be quote unquote written on paper, but otherwise it becomes, at least on the goodwill gesture between the brand, the agency, and the content creator.
Yes.
Interesting. So one thought, Sarabjit, clearly, I think we've always put as digital marketers a lot of things we sort of put as even what Rangam mentioned in terms of, KPI, deliverables and all that as well. Do you therefore see, clearly that, when we put these, uh, can we therefore put these also additional thoughts in terms of performance bonus, successful delivery, many of those? What are your thoughts in terms of making sure that this only cements a relationship better? And is there some sort of way to believe that as certain KPIs you can put some of those points down as well, which also then cement for better relationships?
See, 100%. However, that is the ideal, that if they are performing good, obviously you should give them the bonus. But the thing is, from the organization point of view, might not be possible. But the thing, I had tried one practice in my previous organizations as well. So there is something called in KOL, which is the key opinion leader in the globally people practice. So what we did, I will just name, there is a person called GK Ranjit, and with them, I had launched a brand, which is the AI first televisions over here, which is a brand called iFalcon and under the TCL brand, and which have launched means the AI first with the multiple ranges and all. So in that particular activities, we have done in a retainership contract, and we have locking that particular person with a 12 videos and for a duration of 15 months. Because the way they do understand, because from the Chinese and from that USP and the product specifications point of view, they would not understand because the lingos are different. So we send them the product, they check it by themselves for 1.5 months or so. After that, they communicate and they start their creative way of representations of that same. While doing that exercise, we also send them 3 documents, what I practice primarily. One is the brand guideline, one is the detailed script, and along with the screenplay, and along with that product USP and the specification, and what are the things to be not to be done over there, right? So then they do it accordingly. So retainership is the format that we do rather than performance bonus, because in today's world, that is the challenge what we face. Yeah.
Performance bonus, challenge, retainer, way to go. How do we sort of, I think, create therefore for larger retainers then? Is there a thought that maybe you sort of, I think, feel really comfortable? Will you sort of do a larger retainer in that case? Or you typically as a marketer will keep saying like how you in your marketing mix, you never feel that you're always good with, unless of course you're spending money for the longest time with either Meta or Google, so there's a certain comfort. But I think most other channels become like test and hit, right? So even influencers are test and hit, creators hit and go. So then how do you think you are able to do larger such retainers then? Have you ever thought, Sarabjit, maybe you can do,
So
say, for example, how you commit to, say, for example, say Google, say, for 2 years, I'm going to pay you X amount of money. Will you therefore tell Shirin that for, you know, 2 years, if you reach a certain milestone, we will never stop working with you?
So the thing is, I will tell you, there is something that I have been also working on, which is a platform specific strategy. Because for any of the brands, every platform plays its crucial role, and platform's algorithm is also different, and platform content and engagements are also different. Because what works for YouTube, it may not be work for an Insta, and what works for Insta, it may not be work for your Facebook or Twitter or some other, or even LinkedIn as well, right? So the thing is, in terms of platform specific strategy, if somebody is giving a certain kind of an outcome, rather than placing only the ads to the Google or Meta or something, because at then there is no, there is no guarantee that the thing is the numbers will be as it is. While collaborating with creators and all, it will be that, because the engagement rates will be always on the higher side. So yes, platform specific strategy, if we are getting that milestone, we can get into a retainership for a longer durations. That is doable.
Okay. So, Varsha, you've got someone that you can knock on and clearly do a deal for much longer and clearly then say, I'm exceptionally good only in Instagram. And this is my algorithm clearly cracked with Instagram. And these are the amount of reels I've done. And Sarabjit is smiling, clearly saying, that maybe I've got someone through this discussion itself. But Shirin, for example, someone like you who sort of is a creator and an actor. I think platforms are, agnostic to your creative sort of, I think, capabilities. Do you believe that therefore, there should be sometimes, that freedom also given to an actor or a creator saying, you pick the platform and, you should not be compulsified saying, you have to do only a reel or only this and, all of those. What are your thoughts on that?
I think your audience decide your platform. We do not decide our platform. I have been into acting like since 2011, and this is like a small story that I can share with all of you, that I never decided that I will be the content creator or I will pivot to content creation. It was during COVID when we all were just struggling with a lot of things and figuring out what to do if we are not doing our usual work. That is when I just made a comic video, which was something again very relatable to a lot of people, because I was mimicking or taking nuances of my mom during that time, and the audience just related to that. And my second video only went, second or third video, which was Chinky Ki Mummy. It was a character which I still do at times. I have modified it over the years, and then people love that character. And then I think my audience wanted me to make videos, and by chance it was on Instagram, and that made me a content creator on Instagram. And then I decided that I should start my YouTube also. Then I started my Facebook also. So I think, in if to answer your question, I really feel that your audience will guide you in certain ways, and they will only tell you that which platform is yours, and you will master that platform, and the other platforms will join later.
Interesting.
That
Rangam,
happened with me, at least.
fabulous. I think great. I think anecdotal story of your own journey. And, I think I'm sure many of us have learned the hard way and, tough way through the pandemic, I'm sure, and I think come out of it stronger. Uh, Rangam, is there a thought in terms of, I think, maybe even working along with the tech platforms, be it a Meta or be it, Google or any of that as well, to say that, is there a way that, you think that, getting some, not to say that you want to crack the algorithm, but in a sense to say that, how do we make them inclusive in this process, because they're equal stakeholders in some way, because I think, at the end of the day, that is the delivery zone. So do you think that maybe it's important as a council that we have certain perspective from them as well?
See, the entire premise has been on neutrality. No person would offer, or no platform is going to offer very transparently on how to crack the algorithm, because it is best left to them for how to tweak it, etc. The support that we can, of course, seek from them is having live insights of what works, because the trend analysis that they would have conducted, and when I say they, I mean the platforms would have conducted, they, of course, have a story to tell, right? What works, what doesn't, why it didn't work, why a particular content was viewed by the platform to be in violation of their guidelines, etc. While a lot is written, there's a lot that the machine, or there's also ML, an element of AI that goes behind. What is the machine, or what's the system picking up uh, without without feeding too much data into that? Of course, it will help if someone, we get someone from either a Meta or a Google to talk about it at length. But I just, I'm not sure today is it, if it's that practical. Of course, they're going to come to us, talk to us about the platform guidelines and things that we can ourselves for now decode. But beyond that, at the moment, I do not think or expect them to be coming up and clarifying beyond what's being clarified.
Well, I think good, honest answer, of course. I know we are, getting closer to time in terms of the fact that we've got about 5 or 7 minutes just left as well. And I'm going to just do a bit of a kind of quick one. I wouldn't call it rapid fire, but I'm going to just quickly just ask in terms of, certain immediate I think, peeves or certain things. And I'm going to put this back to the creators first, that Varsha, what do you think is just one thing which you can feel that this is will make your life easy in terms of just helping you feel that you're protected?
Uh, I feel like transparency. Like whatever the brand side wants, it comes all together at once. Okay, and there should be like minimum changes afterwards.
Good. It's all at one go. What about you, Shirin, in terms of how do you see it? What do you think perhaps is something that you feel that will help you, or feel that you're relaxed and you're comfortable with this marketer's job?
I really think, as I said previously, also some freedom to allow me to make my content little organically. That will definitely help me to create better. And of course, I agree with Varsha that if things are aligned prior, like way prior, and we have a very we have a good clarity on what to create and how to create, that will definitely help us shape it better.
Fabulous. I think I'm now going to flip to, I think, the marketer side, and I think we don't have Ashish. I think Mansi has moved out for some other reason. But Ashish, in terms of what do you think as a marketer is some of your key, kind of reason to believe that maybe this is something which will help when some things go wrong, or what do you think perhaps is your dream wish list as in terms of content marketing?
Don't should be much more hard, much more effort should be put on defining the don'ts.
Fabulous.
To get it out.
Absolutely fabulous. Sarabjit, you've done few
It's
campaigns you've mentioned. What do you think? Yeah.
See, before getting into the content or creations, accept me and means my brand first, so that we can say the same word to the world. I think that is what will be my desire and expectation.
Okay. Fabulous. So, back to Rangam in terms of, I think we have a fairly, I think, balanced sort of opinionated sort of audience amongst us right now. But I think, Rangam, what do you think perhaps just for, as an organization as large as you as well, what do you think perhaps could be the first starting point then to perhaps be able to even sort of say that if we have this, is there a certain, styling of or a typical way of drafting a contract? Do we have some of those things which the creators can take from a company like Trilegal, in terms of, as advice, as, just guardrailing themselves, and not just the creators, even for the marketers as well? Uh,
Yeah. Thanks, Kushal. We work both with marketers and influencers. There are, and of course, any ad hoc help, anything that's required, please feel free to reach out. But there are just 5 principles that you need to remember, both the groups, right? Define your non-negotiables, define your creativity/freedom zone, right? Uh, Pre-approval will always trump micromanagement. Fourth, no silent assumptions. And fifth, if you think about it, document it on paper. And if you have these 5 principles, enshrined in whatever shape or form, right? It could be a simple one-pager contract. It should be fine. You're at least in a better zone. Um, if it's a more nuanced concept or a campaign, you may want to seek some external help. You may want, because one size fit all approach will not work in influencer contract, and that is something that we are increasingly seeing because there's dependency on the kind of platform, the kind of content you're putting in, the kind of brands you work with. So do not try to have the same one size fit all approach either. That doesn't work. Uh, Other than that, if there's a high value contract which you think must be vetted, trust your gut and get it vetted. That's the parting remark that I can have.
Well, these are fabulous. I think the 5 point agenda is fabulous. Clearly ask for larger money, go with your gut. Marketers spoke about saying we'll give you performance bonus. Someone said, I'll work on a retainer. Uh, Creators are sort of clearly saying that we're going to follow guidelines. We'll have some creative liberty. I think everyone seems fairly harmonious, and which is why I think where India today stands. And I think, with due respect, with the numbers coming in as well, we are by far the largest content creator economy. And I think if we keep continuing to work in this fabulous way of marketers and creators understanding their issues, their problems, their ways of working, and put things right from day one in terms of what the expectations are, I don't think even someone like Rangam is going to be needed. But Rangam will let you have your share of the pie. You are a legal firm, you should make money too. So I think clearly, I'm sure that there is enough reason. It's not just Shah Rukh Khan, but I'm sure Shri will need you at some point. Varsha will need you at some point as well. I'm sure this has been very, very interesting. I can only sort of give you everyone a big vote of thanks that it's a Friday afternoon. Taking out 1 hour from your precious time does mean a lot for the council, for the people listening in. And this is going to be recorded as well. It's going to be up on our YouTube channel. Hope that maybe people can sort of definitely take semblance from this. And while I think this will keep happening as our Mindful Influence series as well, the thought is that we'll keep doing these often enough, and we'll keep this, I think, chatter amongst creators and marketers going, because we really want India to succeed. We want more good work to happen. And thank you once again for being part of this.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Kaushal, thanks to you. You've been the backbone of this. Please be the way you are. Keep bringing it together.
Thank you so much. Means a lot. All
Thank
right.
you, Kushal. Thank you.
Have a fabulous Friday ahead. Happy weekend. Stay safe, and God bless.
Take care.
Thank you, guys.
Take care.
Take care.
Thank
We
you.
can end it with a good view.
Oh.
Oh, that's
That was
fabulous.
Shireen was hiding all the way around.
I hope someone's paying you for that travel as well. And maybe it's not on your own personal sort of travel. And I hope a brand is paying for that lovely sort of,
You should read my surname once again. It says Sevani, which is a Sindhi. A Sindhi will never pay if it is not needed. Okay,
Well,
guys.
you guys
Bye.
are
All right, have
you guys
fun.
are a
Okay,
fabulous
bye.
lot. Thank you
Bye.
so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Bye.
much.
Bye.